Hey there, future me. It's currently Monday morning, and it's been about 11 days, I think, since I guess recorded the audio for the previous video. Not too much has happened. I guess I went to go see the dentist, got my teeth looked at. It was pretty grim because I hadn't seen the dentist in like 2.5 years and hadn't taken the best care of my teeth. Should have probably could have flossed probably at least more than I don't know. My flossing record hasn't been great, but basically they were kind of like, yeah, bone loss, gingivitis, probably recoverable. Wasn't too bad given that you hadn't seen the dentist in over 2.5 year, but you should floss more. So I guess I'm like flossing daily now, which is great. We love that for us. The internet came back, I think, like sometime like midway through last week, so that was neat. And I guess I spent my today, which is I guess Sunday night, to put things I guess in context, just like doing some chores. I don't know. I like finally cracked open some packages. Got some like new shoes. So that's pretty cool. I can like play tennis and stuff now without like really burning into like my running shoes. Got like yeah, I guess a phone case for the Pixel, so now like I don't just like, or I guess if I were to drop it, it'll hopefully not mess it up as much. Just cleaned out like the home a little bit. There's like a little corner where there's like a ton of cardboard boxes and like plastic bags and stuff. So like I turned a few of the boxes into nets and I guess put some of the bags inside other bags, to save space. And yeah, thanks to the verticality, like that corner of the room looks a little bit nicer now. Um, but this is great. I mean, it's not bad. I mean, I guess it's a little bit hard to express my thoughts right now. This is actually the second time I'm trying to record this. I feel like the first time is always, I guess, a bit rough. So I guess if I'm really interested, I can listen to myself like fumble my words even harder than I will fumble them now. But um, I guess I already have the title of this video in my mind, which is like internet and isolation. Maybe it's better to actually go from isolation to internet instead of going from internet to isolation. As these past this past month or so, just overall has been very infrequent in regards to interactions with other people. I think besides like playing tennis with like someone like once, I've been interacting the and I guess like talking with like just like small talk with like my office mate and I guess just like meeting with prof and I guess like leeching a ride off of like Moon to like go buy groceries and stuff so I don't have to like walk like a mile home with like a gallon of milk in my hand because I'm weak. Coward. Or yeah, maybe I should just walk maybe I should buy milk more often and walk home more often because this is like a weightlifting exercise. Anyways, I think besides that, I've just been spending a lot of time like just on my own, just kind of like in my apartment, right, or just like in the office with like not much, I guess, else to talk to, and it's just been very quiet in a way. I suppose it's not super abnormal, but the I guess the traffic is still like the frequency of interaction is still like a bit lower than normal. I guess it's like that one time I made that like what was it, the boredom and bootstraps video, and I was like, it's just one of those days where like the clouds are out and like it's a Friday night, but like no one's around. It's just kind of rough. But I feel like that's just kind of been like the whole month to some degree. Like, it's I don't think I'm over exaggerating it, but yeah, like just certainly interactions have been a lot lower, and so I've been spending like a lot more time on my own. And as a result, I find myself just like at times just not bored, but just like idling, right? Not like truly idling, as in just like like laying on my bed, like staring at the ceiling and spacing out, but just kind of like aimlessly browsing the internet. I guess maybe that's what they call doom scrolling, right? But huh, I guess that's the garbage truck. Well, guess that's a sign that I should be going to sleep. I don't know if the mic picked that up. Huh. Okay. Um. But yeah, so like I just kind of spending a lot of time like doom scrolling and just kind of seemingly fishing for things. And so right now, I guess I'm trying to figure out, or maybe not figure out, but provide like some hypothesis as to why I'm doing all of this. And so I would suspect that I'm doing all of this due to, I guess, being in isolation. As I, uh, of course, there's like stuff that I could be doing, right? I could be coding, I could be working, I could be like reading some papers that prof sent me. I could be bettering myself in many other ways. I could be going outside and exercising. I could be practicing keyboard. Hell, I could even be playing video game, right? Like, because video game fun, and like there's stuff that I want to do in video game. I like progressing and I like doing these things, right? But instead, we find ourselves like just scrolling through, just looking for something interesting. We check one page, we scroll for a bit, there's nothing there. Okay, lame. We'll close out of that, open up a new tab, check the other page. Okay, there's nothing there. Open up another tab, check the other page, and then somehow like I find myself back full cycle, right? And so it's just a lot of scrolling, a lot of looking, looking for knowledge somehow, but or some kind of like information, maybe something interesting that I'll suddenly invest myself into, right? Maybe I'll see something that's like, oh, I can't believe they did that, and like, oh, hey, it mentions a Wikipedia article, then I'll click on the Wikipedia article, and then on the Wikipedia article, you can click on some other Wikipedia articles, do the classic like Wikipedia rabbit hole, just like the hop around, right, and just kind of like go from place to place and learn a bunch of new things. And sometimes that's pretty cool. And other times, I can go on YouTube and see like something in the recommended, maybe like a channel that I subbed to a while ago that uploaded a video. It seems to be interesting. We click on that and we watch it, and you're like, okay, that's pretty great. And watch a few more of their videos. But I guess like, what is this all for? Of course, like I'm not going to go argue that I should only do things that are quote unquote productive, but it does kind of seem like it's not really. I'm not sure as to how like useful this knowledge is. It's not forbidden knowledge in the sense that knowing this will suddenly make me like, you know, unfathomably like just enlightened, right? Or that like it's going to like make my day a lot worse. It's just kind of it seems that sometimes if I'm not able to like tell other people or I guess exchange like thoughts with other people in regards to like the stuff that I take in regards to the information that I take in, it just doesn't seem worthwhile, right? It's kind of like, well, the whole point of like watching this thing was to kind of like go ask my buddies, right? Like, so I watched this thing and like they said this. What do you guys think about this, right? And then kind of just ping ponging the idea off of them, not really for the sake of like, oh guys, look at me, I studied this thing on the internet, I'm so smart. But we're just kind of like, yeah, I was like on the internet. I was like, I was on the internet. What am I not? But like, I saw this on the internet like the other day, or I saw this like from this YouTube channel and was talking about this. Like, you seem to be interested in like this adjacent thing. What are your thoughts about that, right? In doing something like that, and I guess because that's not really there, I guess it's a bit like it's a bit rough. I suppose like besides interacting with people in the flesh, I've been, of course, still interacting with like other people like over the web, right? I've kept in touch with like some buddies from undergrad. I've kept in touch with like some high school friends, and as a result, I've gotten to meet people over like I guess the great world that is the internet, like friends of friends, right? That I've actually never met in person before, who I like socialize with like somewhat, right? But it's different, right? Even like it's just a bunch of words on a screen and you don't really see their face, you don't really see their expressions, right? They're just kind of like these little circles, right, with like these little epithets and stuff and their titles. And even if like we're on like a voice call together, like playing a video game or something, or we're talking about stuff, and so I can now like hear like, I guess it's of course better than just like a text, right? But it's still a little bit different. And even like in the, I guess in the, what am I gonna call this? Like the carp gang, um, the fish gang, yeah. Like even like the fish gang calls, like where like we have like our webcams on and stuff, and so we can see like all the dumb shit that we do, right? I think like the most recent one, I got asked to give an apartment tour, so I just kind of like, all right, if you say so, man. um, but yeah, I don't know. Like, it's it's different somehow, right? Because I think once you get off the call or once you step away from the screen, you look away from the screen, you just kind of realize you're just back in your apartment on your own. And I suppose even though I interact with like some people in person, I meet with prof or I talk with my office mate or like I go get like groceries with like a friend, like once my friend drops me off or once the meeting ends with prof or once my office mate heads out for the day, it's just kind of we're back to where we started, right? Just kind of in isolation, or okay, isolation's a pretty strong word, right? Of course, there's still like other people around, right? There's probably still going to be people in the office building. I can still hear them, right? And when I walk like or bike back home, I can still see like all the people outside. The cars don't drive themselves, right? There's going to be people in those cars that are like driving the cars whenever I cross the road, but it's I might as well be in isolation. This sounds really uh, maybe that's like just a bit selfish of me, but I guess like I'm not really interacting with them, am I? And so I guess I just find myself to be alone in a ways. It's not necessarily a bad thing, right? But just once again, like um, as there's like a lot of stuff that I like doing, and I think a lot of things are probably easier to do just kind of like on my own. They are like coordinating with other people. I don't really think my friends would enjoy just like watching me bang like on a keyboard and like whiff chords and whiff like notes like no other, right? Um, and so, but I don't know. I guess I still just find myself like spending a lot of time just idling on the internet again, and it just kind of comes back, right? Isolation is not a bad thing, or like alone time is not a bad thing if you manage to really enjoy alone time and make a lot of use of it, right? You find like a show that you think is really interesting or a project that's really meaningful, and you invest a lot of time into that. That's great. What's not great, or yeah, I guess like what I think I'm doing right is what I'm doing right now, which is just kind of just spending a lot of time just kind of like idling around without a purpose, right? Like maybe just like last video, it feels like the vision isn't fully realized, or like the vision is like forgotten. I've become misguided in some ways, um, and yeah, I don't know. And I feel like, especially with a lot of the recent stuff that's been going on, like I guess right now to this has been a week for American politics. Not to get like super political, I don't really know what's going on, man. I just kind of see headlines and I see like everyone talk about it, but like I see the headlines, I see people talk about it, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'm gonna get kind of invested into this as well. And so like I'm not well, okay for starters, I'm a pretty huge lurker on social media. I don't really post much because I don't really see a point. Uh, but like you just kind of like you go around and see like how people react to it, see how different people react to it. Oh, I wonder what this person thought, I wonder what that person thought, right? And then like seeing all of like my friends react to it and watching them like have like 100 message long conversations where they like theorize and talk about, oh man, this happened, whoa, what does this mean, like how will this affect LeBron's legacy? Not you get the point, right? But it's just like all I don't really know like if it's if there's any point, right? Like, it feels like sometimes, or I suppose like it's bad to just like live under a rock and be completely be completely like unaware of like all the issues that are going on in the world, right? And to be completely detached from, I guess, the rest of the world. Of course, that's not great. So it's good to go like look at the news and see what's happening in different parts of the world and to see what's happening around you and all that stuff. But I think sometimes like I get a little bit too lost, right? In there to where I can't actually take that like mm, take away much from it. It feels like the reason why like we're supposed to go out, I guess, and see all this like stuff, right? Or see all these things like or the reason why it's good to go out and like see all this like stuff about the world and to learn all this information is so that whenever we act, we can like whenever we act in relation to this, we can do something about it, or we can take the information at least and like use that to adjust how we make decisions or how we treat other people or how we, I guess, just function in the world. But I don't really know if like the information that I'm getting right now or like a lot of the stuff that I'm looking at is that like of that kind, given that I find myself to be rather isolated, right? Maybe the solution or maybe the fix is just kind of like once I interact with people again, it will be better because then the stuff that I absorbed will now have like an application, a usage, or like I guess like I maybe as usual, you can't just you can't just wait for good things to happen to you. You got to go seek them out, right? If I actually want to find an application for these things that I learn, then maybe I need to go out and, as they say, be the change in some form, right? Go out and like I don't know, find people to talk to and find people to, I guess, like have these conversations with and find like, I guess, things that I can put all of this like information to use on, right? Like, but it's okay. Well, I want to say something like, "Well, you see, but it's hard, right?" But I don't really want to give myself that much credit. I probably to some degree I'm just being a bit of a bum, right? Like, I should. I think like if I want to say that like I want to go out and do something, then I also should go out and do something. And by like expressing that, like I'm not really sure whether my issue with like I guess just feeling that I'm wasting a lot of time on the internet is that I have. Okay, take a step back. Let's gather myself. I'm not sure whether my issue with I'm not sure whether my issue with reading a lot of stuff on the internet and seemingly not having a use for it is the fact that I want to have a use for it, or that I like just I'm not really sure whether I actually want to act upon this. I don't really know if like activism or going out and like making a change in the world is like something that I really want, right? Or whether it's just like I find this time to be unproductive, right? Maybe if I did end up living more under a rock than not, I would be perfectly happy. Um, so yeah, I'm not really sure as to what I actually want, but it just does seem that I can at least feel that right now, like this is a really weird time. And I guess like even when I'm with other people and I see stuff like happen in the world and I can like ask them about it and see what their thoughts are, like it's still a bunch of theory crafting at the end of the day. And at that point, it's just like a conversation starter. And maybe there are like other conversation starters that I can use. Um, but yeah, I don't know. It's just a really weird time right now. I know my thoughts probably aren't super coherent. Wait, I think I already said this once. Deja vu. Oh man. But I feel like if I don't record this now and if I go to sleep and wake up, I feel like I'll be a little bit too like content or like satisfied, I guess. Like it always seems that whenever like I wake up and like the day's just begun, there's like a lot of stuff that I can do and there's like a lot of promise, but at night is kind of when like the not the self-doubt, but just like when the real things kind of kick in, like there's a lot of stuff to work on, there are a lot of thoughts, and as much as like I want to or not have these thoughts, I think the only way I can not have these thoughts or the way I can lessen the frequency of these thoughts is if the situation changes, which is something that I have to work on. And I think that if I were to not like make efforts to try to document this now, then the image like of past me formed over time by these like channel videos would not be as accurate as it could be. I suppose it'll never be perfectly accurate, but I feel like I guess I have to do what I can. I hope that over the next week or so, now that I think people are coming back to town, a lot of them have been out just because, like, maybe they want to go see their folks or maybe they have conferences and stuff. The summertime is a pretty weird time. Like, one of them's even in, like, Europe or something, right? For, like, an experiment, I think that he's working on. But, yeah, I don't know. I hope that once, like, people are back, like, and I guess I get a hold of myself, my sleep schedule will stabilize a little bit. Maybe it'll become a bit more normal, right? And like this will fix me up a little bit. But yeah, I don't know. It's just I hope this video is not too rough. Well, future me, I'll see you next time, and I hope it's sooner than later. Till then.